Hi, let's read a text together in English. It might help us to understand how English language is used in real life context. And this reading is supposed to help us to develop our vocabulary, our understanding of grammar, and our ability to comprehend globally. So, let's read. Here you have the text on your screen. Just you need to pause the video for a while, read the text on your own, and see if you understand anything out of the text. And then come back again, play the video once again to see how I read the text for you. Welcome back. Did you understand anything? Okay, now it's my turn to read the text aloud for you. So hear me out. Boats sail on the rivers, and ships sail on the seas, but clouds that sail across the sky are prettier than these. There are bridges on the rivers, as pretty as you please, but the bow that bridges heaven and overtops the trees and builds a road from earth to sky is prettier far than these. How did you find my way of reading the text? Do you think my way of reading the text helped you in understanding the meaning better than you got earlier when you were reading the text all alone? However, by now I am pretty sure that you understand this text is actually a poem, right? From the way I have read it as per a regular rhythm, it's very clear that this is no prose, this is a poem. So, what the poem is all about then? Do you have any answer to my question? Okay, uh, before we discuss the meaning of the text, before we discuss what the poem is all about, why don't we discuss the meaning of the difficult words and phrases that we have come across while reading this poem? Okay, I know that the text is quite easy, but I would like to discuss a few words and phrases. First, have you noticed by any chance that we have got this word sail thrice in the very first three lines of the poem? We have this being used in the first line once, in the second line once, and in the third line once again. Now, this is a regular verb. This is a regular verb means the three forms are sail, sailed, sailed. So, just to remind you once again, we just add d or ed to the base form or to the present form of the verb to get the past form and the third form of the verb. These are all regular verbs. Here in this text, we have this word used as a regular verb, but this word can also be used as a noun. So, when we use the word as a verb, it means a boat or a ship or any water going vessel moving through the water, right? But if we use this word as a noun, then it refers to the piece of cloth or tarpaulin or any synthetic fabric that are usually hung to catch the wind force so that they can move through the water faster. And here I have come up with a sentence where you get the word used once as a verb and once as a noun as well. Boats sail on the sea with the help of sails on a windy day. Do you get the thing clear? Now, the next word that I would like to discuss is pretty. Yes, I know you all know the meaning of pretty. It means beautiful, and this is normally used as an adjective. Now, herein where I would like to say a few more things. Adjectives, as you know, these are basically the qualifying words for pronominals. Pronominals means nouns and pronouns, right? Now, adjectives can have three forms: base form or the positive degree, comparative degree, and the superlative degree. When we are referring to a particular noun without referring to any other pronominal, we are not bringing in any comparison, then we use the positive degree or the base form. When we compare two pronominals together, we use the comparative degree. And when we refer to a particular pronominal among a group, obviously bringing in the factor of comparison, then we use the superlative form, right? Now, again, here you need to understand that whenever you come across an adjective, you need to keep in mind that it's your responsibility to learn all the three forms, right? So, pretty is the positive degree or the base form, prettier, comparative, and prettiest, that's superlative. And there is another tricky thing that you need to remember. Whenever we are using the comparative degree, normally you will find a linker than. You are prettier than me. You are pretty, positive degree, no than. But you are prettier than me, here you get the linker. Linker used for comparing two pronominals, than. And in case of superlative degree, we always use the definite article the. So you are the prettiest among us, just flattering you. So you are the prettiest among us, the. It is used just before the superlative form of the adjective. You need to remember this. Now, if we need to remember all the three forms of the adjectives that we get to learn, it becomes a Herculean task, right? But don't worry, just like verbs, adjectives can also get divided into or categorized into uh, two categories: regular adjectives and irregular adjectives. When it comes to when it comes to regular adjectives, you know, uh, you add er to the base form to the comparative degree, pretty, prettier, and est to the base form to get the superlative degree, pretty, prettiest. So similarly, you can have ugly, uglier, ugliest. So that's easy. You just need to remember that if the adjectives, the base forms obviously end up with y, then when you add er or est, y gets dropped and replaced by I. I think most of you know the rule, right? And there is another regular protocol or convention to get the comparative and the superlative forms. If the adjectives we are using are longer, usually more than 3 syllables, then we use more the word more before the base form to get the comparative degree, and the word most before the base form to get the superlative degree, like beautiful, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful, notorious, more notorious, most notorious. So now I believe you don't feel that learning all the three forms are going to be tricky. Actually, it's easy, right? But yes, we have the category called the irregular adjectives as well, right? And sadly, there is no regular rule to get the comparative forms or the superlative forms in case of irregular adjectives. But again, I think you know those which are mostly used by us, right? So already the hard task is done, like good, better, best, bad, worse, worst. Now it's time to discuss the phrase pretty as you please. Now, this is a typical way of saying very pretty. It's actually an idiomatic expression. Next, bridge. Now, bridge, this word, as you have already noticed, I hope, has been used twice in this text. Once as a noun. When it's used as a noun, then it means a structure built over a river or road or rail track for people or vehicles to pass over it. Right? You all know what is a bridge. Now, when we use this as a verb, then we refer to the action of connecting a gap, right? So when we are using the word as a verb, then we use this as a regular verb. So the three forms, I guess, is easy for you to make out. Yes, you have guessed the three forms correctly: bridge, bridged, bridged. Now we come to something that you may find very interesting. We have a word spelled B-O-W. Now you can pronounce this as bow or bow. When we use this word as bow, it can refer to two different things. One, a particular weapon which is arch shaped, right, to shoot arrows. You know what I am referring to, right? And then there is another meaning, bow. It refers to a decorative knot. I'm sure you have heard about bow tie. So, bow tie is a particular tie which is worn around our neck, and we use a decorative bow knot to tie it. Therefore, we refer to this tie as bow tie, right? We also normally use bow knot to tie our shoelaces. So, I'm pretty sure you understand what is a bow knot. Now, if we pronounce the word as bow, it can be used as a noun where it refers to a particular way of greeting somebody, right? By bending forward. I'm sure you have watched people, particularly uh, the Asian people like the Korean, Japanese, Chinese people to take a bow when they greet people, other people, senior people on screen. and the action is also referred to as the same word. When we use bow as verb, we refer to the action. So if I bend forward to greet, I am bowing, right? Now, herein I would like to discuss two very interesting aspects called homophones and homographs. Now, homo means similar, phone, sound. So, if the words sound similarly, if the words are pronounced the same way, they are homophones. Obviously, they are different words and they mean differently, but they get pronounced the same way. Therefore, they are homophones. And homographs are a little bit different. Graph here refers to the spelling. So, different words, if they are spelled the same way, but if they are pronounced differently and if they mean different things, then they are homographs. Now, you have a task. Here you have got four words spelled with BOW. You need to find out which pairs are homophones and which pairs are homographs. And you can obviously let me know down there in the comment box below. Yes, this is the last word that I would like to discuss with you. Overtop, it's a regular verb. It means to rise above or to go above. Over top. So the meaning is quite evident from the word itself. I'm pretty sure you would agree to me. Now it's time to get the meaning of the text properly, right? But before we go for a third reading, I would like to remind you about the basic English syntax that we have learned. We begin a sentence normally with the subject. Subject performs the action of the verb. Verb phrase follows the subject. And if the verb phrase is a transitive one, then there will be object or objects accordingly. And if the verb phrase is not transitive, if the verb phrase is intransitive, then obviously there won't be any object. The meaning of intransitive verbs you already have learned gets meaning without the object. So there will be no object and we might have some adjunct. Adjuncts are additional information that answers question like where, that is to say they might refer to place or time when answering questions like when, or they might refer to reason answering questions like why, or they might refer to any other information. So now we are all set to read the poem once again. We will begin with the first four lines first. Right? They seem to be quite like a unit, an integrated unit. Now, what do we have? We have basically three clause like or sentence like structures or clauses here in these first four lines. Boats sail on the river. I have co-indexed the sentence, the clause with color so that you can understand. Boats is the subject here, sail verb phrase, sail intransitive, so we don't have any object here. We have adjunct on the rivers, so it is referring to some place, right? Answering question like where do the boats sail? Okay, Boats sail on the rivers. You know the drill, right? What what do sail on the rivers? Boats sail on the rivers, right? Subject question. Next clause or sentence like structure. Ships sail on the sea. Next, but clouds that sail across the sky are prettier than these. Now, this sentence is a complex sentence, so I will be simplifying this for you. I'll be uh, splitting this complex sentence into two simpler sentences. Clouds sail across the sky. Clouds are prettier than these. These means boats and ships. Now, here we need to discuss about pronouns. Pronouns are very important linkers, right? And pronouns always refer to nouns referred to in earlier. So the poem begins by referring to boats, and then in the second line it refers to ships. We find boats on the rivers, we find ships sailing on the seas, and now we have clouds sailing across the sky. So now, if the poet says that clouds are prettier than these, we need to understand that clouds are prettier than boats and ships. This is how meaning is organized by pronouns, right? Pronouns are very important tool in our language, right? Okay. The poet thinks that clouds sailing across the sky are prettier than boats and ships. Do you agree with the poet? Before we move on, I think we need to discuss a few more aspects here. Have you noticed boats and ships sail on the seas, on the rivers? Boats sail on the rivers. Ships sail on the sea. And we swim in water. So prepositions are tricky, right? You need to remember that if we are using the verb sail, we need to use the preposition on. If we are using the verb swim, then we need to use the preposition in. But again, if it's not about water, if it's about sky, then we use a different preposition, like clouds sail across the sky. It will be very mistaken of us to say clouds sail on the sky, right? So prepositions can be tricky if you don't pay attention to the context. Prepositions are used in a very much context bound or context dependent way. And we have the very important linker but here. But is very essential to point to a contrasting aspect. So if you want to establish a point of difference, or if you are going to argue back, you might find this particular linker very useful. Boats sail on the rivers. Ships sail on the sea. They're beautiful, but clouds sail across the sky and they are more beautiful. So here the poet is establishing a point of difference, a point of contrast, and therefore the preposition but here is being used in a very handy manner. Now it's time to move on to the last section of the poem, the last 6 lines. There are bridges on the rivers, as pretty as you please. We already have learned the meaning of the phrase as pretty as you please. Very beautiful, right? And there is an introductory subject. It's not basically the agent performing the action of the verb. So I bring the agent at the very beginning, the way you are learning to construct your sentences. What are there on the rivers? There are bridges on the rivers. That is to say, bridges are there on the rivers. Now, how are the bridges? Very beautiful bridges. So now we can combine and say, very beautiful bridges are there on the river. Very beautiful bridges, subject, are, verb phrase, state verb, there on the rivers, that's the complement. But the bow that bridges heaven and overtops the trees and builds a road from earth to sky is prettier far than these. A bit lengthy and a bit complicated, but not much. Let's simplify. Basically, here the bow has been used, the subject, the bow has been used with 3 verb phrases. The bow bridges heaven. The bow overtops the trees. The bow builds a road from earth to sky. And this bow, which bridges heaven, overtops the trees, and builds a road from earth to sky, is prettier far than these. These, pronoun again. Can you guess which nouns are being referred to here? Yes, boats, ships, and bridges. So now we can make a list of all the actions performed by the subject bow and use the common subject bow just for once at the very beginning, and we get the sentence. The bow bridges heaven, overtops the trees, and builds a road from earth to sky. Right? Now, the next sentence. This bow is far prettier than the boats, ships, and bridges. So now you know what are getting compared here. But what about this bow? What bow rises above the trees, builds a road from earth to sky, and connects them together? Okay, you already have got one clue. Clouds are here, already referred to in earlier, right? Here comes some other clue if you need them. Look at the pictures and see if you can understand the bow. Yes, rain bow. That's it. Now you can understand rainbow rises above the trees, builds a road from the earth to the sky, and connects them together. What is the poem then all about? What is it all about? Okay, if I ask you to add a title to this text, what would be your title? Cristina Georgina Rossetti, the poet, opted for the title The Rainbow. And it's very obvious, right? The poem refers to multiple beautiful things around us, like the sailing boats, the sailing ships, the sailing clouds, the bridges across the rivers, and the rainbow. So we have five beautiful things being referred to in here in this poem. And the poet thinks that the rainbow is the most beautiful among all those five beautiful objects. So, yes, it is very likely for her then to opt for the title The Rainbow. So, our primary discussion on the poem comes to an end here. Uh, Drop your questions down there in the comment box below if you have any, and I'll be trying to answer you back at the earliest. Now, let's warm up for some activity. Here you have a few blanks to fill up just for a little warm up, right? A. We see clouds in the sky. So, see, if we are looking at clouds, then clouds are in the sky. But clouds, if they are sailing across the sky. So you need to remember the context. I have already told you earlier, prepositions can be tricky. Not much, but a little bit tricky. B. The sky gets clear after rain. C. An arrow is shot from a bow. D. White is the color of peace. Let's do some more, right? Here we choose the correct alternative. Okay, so we have three alternatives and we have to choose the most appropriate one, right? A. Ships sail on the sea. Now, obviously, from the poem, you have learned that ships sail on the sea. But obviously, there is no chance that ships are going to sail on ponds. But there are huge lakes like the Aral Sea where you find actual ships actually sailing. B. Clouds are prettier than rain and sky, boats and ships, rivers and seas. And the answer is clouds are prettier than boats and ships. C. The poet talks about a bow that bridges heaven, sea, river. And the answer is heaven. Next, number D. The poet mentions that the road is from sky to earth, earth to river, earth to sky. And the answer is earth to sky. Second activity. Here we are to complete the following sentences with information from the text. Okay, let's do it now. A. Boats sail on the rivers. B. The sailing boats and ships are less beautiful than the clouds. So, just note, earlier in the poem, we have read that the clouds are more beautiful than the sailing boats and ships. And herein, you just get the opposite way of referring to the same thing. The sailing boats and ships are less beautiful than the clouds. Remember earlier, I came up with the example, you are prettier than me. So I can refer to the same content just in the opposite way by saying I am uglier than you. Do you get it now? Next, C. Bridges are built over a road from earth to sky. This is a very interesting activity. Boats and ships sail on the water, while clouds sail across the sky. State the difference in their manner of sailing. Okay, I'll give you clues and I'll wait for you to submit your answers. So, first clue, agency and speed. Who sail or sails the boats and ships? Who sail or sails the clouds? Next, speed. Which sails faster usually? Boats or ships or clouds? Next, place of sailing. Where do the boats and ships sail? Where do the clouds sail? So herein you need to compare between two parties, right? So in one party we have the boats and the ships, and next in the other party you have the clouds. Go ahead and do it on your own. Okay, here we do have a chart or a table and we do have few blanks that we need to fill up with information from the text. Okay, so compare your answers with mine. A. What we have to write here? Where we are told on the rivers. So our answer will be boats sail on the rivers. B. Clouds sail across the sky. I hope you got your preposition correct, right? C. Dash bridges heaven. Rainbow bridges heaven. And the final one, D. It's rainbow again. A rainbow overtops the trees. Now it's time to answer a few questions. These are quite easy questions and I'm pretty sure you will be able to answer these questions. Let us begin with number A. What is prettier than boats, ships and clouds? I'm sure you understand that this is a subject question. You just need to replace the interrogative pronoun what with the answer and then copy down the rest part of the question and you get your answer ready. So that's how we answer subject questions, right? So our answer will be rainbow is prettier than boats, ship and clouds, right? Now let us move on to the next question. What are the clouds compared to? Answer: the clouds are compared to the sailing boats and ships. This is, as I hope you have already identified, is an object question. What are the clouds compared to? The clouds subject are compared to verb phrase passive voice, and the clouds are compared to object the sailing boats and ships. No adjunct, right? Next, question number C. How do you think the rainbow builds a road from the earth to the sky? Tricky question, right? But I think you have got the answer in your science class, right? Yes, the rainbow builds a road from the earth to the sky by dispersing the light into its component colors, right? To disperse means to scatter. Next, which, according to the poet, is the prettiest of all objects mentioned in the poem? Again, a subject question, right? And the answer is simple. The rainbow, according to the poet, is the prettiest of all objects mentioned in the poem. So the drill is all the same. You replace the interrogative pronoun which or which object with the answer, the rainbow, and then copy down the rest part of the question itself to get the answer of the question. Okay, now let us move on to the next activity. We have a passage for reading. Okay, let's read. Standing on the seashore, the four friends were watching the night sky. They looked at the stars in wonder. They felt the soothing breeze and heard the waves roaring in the deep sea. Now pick out the countable and uncountable nouns and fill in the table. Okay, you know what are countable nouns and what are uncountable nouns. By the way, this reminds me that we have come across the word cloud, and in the text, we have seen that cloud is used in its plural form in the text. So that means here the poet is treating cloud as a countable noun. But again, there are contexts where we can use cloud as an uncountable noun. Like if we say the sky is overcast with cloud, then we normally don't use it as a countable noun. But here, when I say clouds are sailing across the sky, I'm referring to uh, various chunks or masses of clouds, and that's again, treating cloud as a countable noun. So cloud can be both countable and uncountable depending upon its usage, and there are a few more nouns like this which can be treated as countable as well as uncountable. So let's go and pick our countable and uncountable nouns from this text. Yes, I have got my list prepared. So here you have my list. I'm pretty sure there is nothing to explain, but I would love to explain the phrase that I have chosen in the list of the countable nouns, the night sky. Now here I have chosen this phrase particularly because this phrase is functioning as the noun phrase. And night, it can be used as noun, but it can also be used as a classifier, some sort of adjective. And here in the noun phrase, the night sky, sky is the head noun. Sky is countable noun, therefore the phrase the night sky is countable. When you deal with night alone, you count it as again a countable noun. However, here night is actually not a noun, but night sky is the noun, right? And there is a funny thing that I might like to share with you. If you find any noun phrase or any noun with the plural marker s, you understand that it is countable, right? Already they have counted it and they have marked it as plural. So, friends, stars, waves, uh, they are countable because they are in their plural forms, right? It's a no brainer. right? And we have only two uncountable nouns, wonder and breeze. Uh, well, you can't count wonder. You can measure though, and obviously you can't count wind uh, or breeze, right? So we have two uncountable nouns here. Okay, now it's time to identify the collective nouns and abstract nouns. We will be underlining the abstract nouns and we will be italicizing the collective nouns. To italicize means to write in a tilted fashion, right? Okay, so just let us go for a quick recap. What are collective nouns? Nouns that refer to a collection or group of animals or objects, right? Abstract nouns, well, they are not concrete. Uh, they are the nouns like our various types of emotions and feelings like love, hatred, emotion itself, right? Not itself, emotion, right? So let's italicize the collective nouns first. Okay, I have found two. One, in the first sentence, the fleet moves across the ocean. Fleet of ships. And next, in the third line, a troop came marching on. A troop of soldiers. Do we have any more collective nouns? Let's go through the sentences once again. The fleet moves across the ocean. Honesty is the best policy. A troop came marching on. The old man is known for his wisdom. No, I don't find any other collective noun. Now it's time to underline the abstract noun. Yeah, there are three. Two in the second line, honesty and policy. Both honesty and policy are abstract nouns, and one in the fourth line, the old man is known for his wisdom. So wisdom again is an abstract noun, right? Activity 6C. Fill in the blanks with the correct form of the given verbs in the brackets. Okay, so we have be, do, go, be within brackets, and we have to use whatever forms of these verbs are appropriate in the given context. So first, she dash singing a song, was singing a song, or she is singing a song, or she will be singing a song. Please note that the time is not defined in this context, so we can answer using past, using present, or future, whatever comes to our mind, right? Now the second one, my father dash his work last night. Last night, please note the time is defined here. So my answer will be my father did his work last night, simple past, or my father had done his work last night, past perfect. Both are appropriate. Next, they dash to the playground. Again, the time is not defined in the context. So, what is your answer? My answer will be they went to the playground, simple past, or they will go to the playground, simple future. I won't use simple present. I won't say they go to the playground because that's so awkward. Simple present refers to habitual activities. It would make sense if I say they go to the playground every day or regularly or frequently, but without any reference to the regularity of the action, it would be very awkward to say they go to the playground. Do you get my point? Next, the football match dash seen by many people. Again, there is no time context defined here. So my answer will be the football match was seen by many people. Simple past, passive voice. The football match is being seen by many people. Present continuous, passive voice. Or the football match will be seen by many people. Simple future, passive voice. What was your answer? Activity 7A. Fill in the blanks with appropriate words from the list below. Okay, what do we have in the list? Bridges, pretty, sail, earth. Okay, do it on your own and then just play the video once again to say how I have filled up the blanks, right? And if there is a difference, you can always let me know. Here are my answers. She has a pretty blue skirt. Bridges help us to cross rivers. Ships sail across the ocean. We must plant trees to save our earth. Remember, you have no other way to use these words to fill up the blank. So, if you have a difference with me, then probably you are wrong. Activity 7B. Make meaningful sentences of your own with the following words: build, across, bridge, road. Easy, right? Nah, I'm not going to write sentences with these words. You can very well make your own sentences and uh, get them reviewed by me if you think that's necessary. If you are feeling confident enough, you don't have to do this. Okay, uh, I can make a single sentence using all the four words. Yeah, I can do that for you, but yeah, I need you to make a sentence with each word, right? So write four sentences using these four words. And here is my sentence. We need to build a bridge across the road to ease the cross traffic. Yeah, it's a nice sentence, right? I have used all the words given quite successfully. Yes, you need to appreciate me. Let's talk. Suppose one day it has been raining since early morning. Your school declared a holiday for the rains. Now, discuss with your partner how you would spend such a day. I'll give you a few clues. How to begin? You may begin by breaking the news of your school declaring a holiday for the rains to your friend over your balconies, if you stay very close, or over the telephone if you stay far away from each other. And then about the real conversation. Think about what you can do on such a day. Say, I'll do this and I'll do that. That's it. Also, count and make a list what you can't do on such a day and what you are not allowed to do on such a day. And then you can continue. I won't do blah blah blah, or they won't allow me to do blah 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 blah. Do you get my point clear? Now, about some writing. After a heavy shower, we often see that a rainbow appears in the sky. Write a paragraph in about 60 words describing the scene as you see it. Use the following hints: time of the day, place, the clear, cloudless sky, how the rainbow looks like, colors of the rainbow, your feelings. Now, here I do have a point. You may find a rainbow when there is a clear sky after the rain, or you can have a clearer sky having a portion, right? So, if you have real experience, write from your own experience if you do remember it properly, or you may take help of this picture, right? So go ahead, and if you want to get your write-up reviewed, you need to share your write-up with me down there again in the comment box below. More writing. This one is actually interesting. Suppose you are standing on a bridge looking down. Try to think what happens when you stand on a bridge and look down. You are elevated, you are higher, you are on a higher level, and you are looking down. Write a paragraph in about 60 words, that means 5 to 6 sentences at best, describing the things that you see below. You may begin like, standing upon a bridge, when I look down, I see. What do you see? You need to make a list and write it here. To make the list, you have to actually remember your experience of standing on a bridge and looking down, right? Uh, I'm pretty sure you all have the experience of at least standing on a railway footover bridge. So use that experience if you don't remember standing on any bridge over a river or something like that. And what happens when you look down from a bridge? They look quite different, right? Because you look from above. Normally, you stand on the same ground and look at things. But when you are standing up on a bridge and you are looking below, then obviously you are having a different perspective. Things look smaller now because you are looking from a distance. So say they look quite different and a bit small from above. Now you are on your own. Describe how they look different, how they amuse you, right? And follow the syntactic structure that you have learned. That's it. Again, if you want your activity, your write-up to get reviewed, share your write-up down there in the comment box below. You can, if you are interested, you can make a pictorial dictionary. How? Draw the pictures of a few things you need on a rainy day. First, think what you might need specifically on a rainy day. Make the list, draw pictures of those items. Next, write 2 sentences on the use of each of them, and then arrange them alphabetically and paste them, those pictures, cut and paste those pictures on your exercise book. Your pictorial notebook is ready. So now that's the end of our session. I would like to thank you all for being with me and specifically thanks Screenify for allowing me to screen record for so long for absolutely free. Thank you.